Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kikan. I'm here with another video. I want to give a quick shout out and thank everybody who subscribed for my last video. I do appreciate your support, so I wanted to say that as soon as we kick off this video. But let's go ahead and talk about what we came to talk about today, which is the Samsung Note phones. Now, I do know that these phones got announced pretty much close to a week ago now, and I am a little bit late to the news. I apologize for my late video, but again, thank you for your support. So let's just get right into it. So we have two new Samsung phones, and I'm gonna break down just the specs first and then go ahead and go through my thoughts on Samsung, their phone strategy, and then whether I think these phones are even worth it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The Galaxy Note 20 versus the Note 20 Ultra. I'll try to maybe do something fancy and put some text here. It won't even probably look that fancy, but let's go ahead and do that. The Note 20 is going to have a 6.7-inch AMOLED display, full HD at 60 Hz. I'll talk about that later. And then the Note 20 Ultra, 6.9-inch AMOLED Quad HD, 120 Hz. The processor is the Snapdragon 865 Plus, which is just, for both of them, it's just a little step up from the 865. I'll talk about that later. RAM, 8 gigabytes versus 12 gigabytes. Storage, 128 gigabytes. The Ultra has 128 or 512 gigabytes. And the difference this year is the Note 20 does not have expandable storage. The Ultra does, but the Note 20 does not. The rear cameras, you get a 12 megapixel wide. Let me start with the regular Note. 12 megapixel wide f1.8, 64 megapixel telephoto with 3 times optical zoom, f1.8 also, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide f2.2. Not bad. On the Ultra, you get 108 megapixel wide, so your main shooter, a 12 megapixel telephoto with 5 times optical zoom, f3.0, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide f2.2. The front camera is the same on both phones, so you get a 10 megapixel f2.2 lens. Battery is 4,300 milliamp hour batteries versus 45 milliamp hour batteries. And the charging, so they're exactly the same, 25 watt fast charging wired, and then 15 watt fast wireless charging. They both come with Android 10, One UI 2.0, and the colors are a little bit different. So you get Mystic Gray, Mystic Green, and Mystic Bronze. Just a lot of Mystic out there. And then Mystic Bronze, Mystic Black, and Mystic White for the Ultra. So regular colors with the word Mystic in front of them. They do differ in size. I don't really care about the size. And then the weight, 6.8 ounces on the Note versus 7.33 on the Note Ultra. Again, not that big a deal. One is bigger, one's going to weigh more, has a bigger battery. I do want to also point out, and this is something that MKBHD actually pointed out, that the regular Note has a plastic back. I did not know this. I don't have these phones in hand. I'm not a YouTuber that I guess is big enough or has, a big enough following where I'm considered an influencer of sorts on YouTube and I would get any sort of phones or have the money to buy these phones. I just do this because I like technology, and I just figure if I can inform you guys, that's cool. If you like my videos, go ahead and like them, subscribe, and hit the bell button, and you'll be notified of new uploads. But I just want to go ahead and talk about this for a second because I think Samsung's a little ridiculous. Samsung releases 5 phones a year. 5. They released 5 phones this year. The S, the S Plus, the S Ultra, the Note Ultra. 5 phones. Why? Why do you need 5 phones in a year? Sure, let me get back into the Snapdragon 865 Plus. Sure, it's a marginal step forward, but you have a brand new processor coming out later that's going to be applied to your February lineup of new Galaxy S phones, and those phones are going to essentially blow these phones out of the water when it comes to performance, so why bother? To compete with Apple, to sell at the same time, just move your Galaxy S lineup to August, sell all your phones in August or February, whichever one you want to do. Honestly, I would rather do February because you get the new processors right away when they come out. You get the most value for your buck. But I just don't think they're worth it anymore. And this is the first time I've ever thought about saying that about a Note line, because the Note is my favorite phone. I have a Google Pixel 4 XL right now, but before that, all I had was Notes, and I loved them. They were worth it. But I think at this point, you have a Galaxy S Plus, and a Galaxy S Ultra, which basically are a Note without the pen. So now you make two note lines. One, you take out features and make cheaper just to try to differentiate the more expensive one, when what they should be doing is differentiating the Note overall from the Galaxy S lineup. So there should be a Galaxy S, Galaxy S Plus, and then what's the Ultra now should be the Note Ultra, not the Galaxy S Ultra, and just have that reserved as your Note phone. You have 3 phones a year. You don't need to make 5 phones. Same thing with this display. They had to downgrade the Note's display, which was always Quad HD, as far as I remember in current times. Quad HD display, sure, it was 60 hertz. Now we're at 90 hertz standard for most phones, kind of. And then now they're pushing 120 hertz. The problem is 120 hertz is reserved to the Ultra, and it's reserved to full HD on the Ultra, which means there's no in between. Like, why wouldn't Samsung make a display that can go from 60 to 90 to 120 hertz? So let's say you don't want to have full HD, but you also don't want to have 60 hertz. 90 hertz Quad HD, full HD 120 hertz. There's that option. But no, they don't. You go from Quad HD 60 hertz to full HD 120 hertz, or nothing. That's it. That's all you get. I don't think it's worth it. And let's talk about the price for a second. It's $1,000 for a plastic-backed phone, no expandable storage, which again, Samsung tried this before and they brought it back. Why? Because we hated it. They tried taking out their expandable storage. They try to be like Apple. Their phones are made of aluminum and glass, but now they're made of aluminum plastic. I don't think it's worth it. Don't pay $1,000 for a plastic phone. No way. Same thing with the Ultra, $1,300. I mean, sure, it starts at 128 gigs. I get that, but $1,300 for a Note phone that should, I think the Ultra should be closer to the $1,000 range. And at this point, it sounds crazy to even say that because phones are $1,000. And sure, Apple charges $1,000 for their phones, but they also have way faster and better processors that can offer the type of performance that I would say, okay, well, if I bought this phone, then maybe it can do enough for me if I want to edit a video on it where I would justify $1,000. But these phones, to me, I mean, I don't know. I think it's getting out of hand. I think that's really what it's about. Is I think it's getting out of hand. Marginal updates, which has always been the case with phones, is always a marginal update from one year to the next, and then maybe a big jump every few years. But I just don't see it. And yes, they also improved the pen, and the pen has less latency, which now you can not notice as much of a lag, because it's like a 9 millisecond lag between you touching the screen and it actually writing. Okay, that's cool. And I've always loved the pen on the Note line. Again, it's one of the differentiating features. I just think Samsung's doing it wrong. And I love Samsung. I love their products. I've even considered, I have the Google phone now, and Google's discontinued the 4XL. So now what am I going to do? I've even thought about maybe even trying Apple for once. And you can see the little headline, longtime Android user switches to Apple. What are his thoughts? I mean, what would my thoughts be? I'd probably still hate it, but I don't know. I just gotta say I'm disappointed, that's all. And it's not because I was expecting some sort of huge leap, it's just because I'm disappointed in Samsung's strategy over the years and where they've come. I think that's really the thing. I don't think I'm disappointed with the phones. I think if I had one of these phones in my hand, I'd be so happy. Like, I would. I think these are really good phones. I just don't see them as worth it. Here's the bottom line. If you're thinking of buying a new phone, either buy a Galaxy S line that came out earlier this year with the 865 instead of the 865 Plus, again, not that big a difference, or wait till February and get a new Galaxy S line phone with a new processor that you'll probably pay the same price for as these phones, but you'll actually have newer technology and justifiable processors inside. You're going to pay $1,000 and $1,300 for this phone with an outdated processor in like 3 months. I'm not doing my math right, but you know what I mean. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this. I don't have those phones with me. I'm sure if I did, I'd be so happy. My reviews would probably be really good of the phones themselves. I think this is more of a criticism on Samsung themselves. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. I mean, What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on Samsung, the way they're going with their phone lines, the new Note line? And then go ahead and just drop a comment on the section below. Let me know what you think. Would you buy this? Would you watch a video if I did end up buying an iPhone for the very first time in my lifetime? Just let me know. Again, give it a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and till next time.